How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Trump just elected the most powerful person in crypto, or at least one of them, along with the SEC chair. He just announced who is going to be the crypto czar, the person that is helping shape the regulation of crypto in America. We'll be talking about that along with what's happening in the market here today. Be ready for anything. There's a lot of volatility right now, which I actually really like. I think it's really healthy. But of course, like I said, be ready for anything because we are going to see more crashes. We're going to see more pumps. We're going to see more of everything in the future. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to trade crypto, this is not right for everyone, but in case you do want to trade crypto using leverage, there's a link underneath the video to Blofin. There's a link underneath the video to CoinW and to BTCC. These are great exchanges. I like to use all three and spread out the risk over multiple exchanges, and I get to try out different exchanges so I get to see what I like the most. So definitely check out these links underneath the video. In my last video, I talk about how Bitcoin crashed because it literally went down $7,000 in 3 minutes. There's manipulation. There were people getting liquidated that were long. And I said, I think that we could recover pretty quickly because it looked like straight manipulation. And what do you know? We recovered to the point that we were at right before this liquidation. I said, you know, if you're willing to do it, it might be smart to go long on something like this because there's only good news. And what do you know? We are up since then. We also know that there are a lot more liquidations now on the upside, right? A lot of people got liquidated down in the 90s, and now probably the opposite is going to happen where we get liquidations to the upside. You can start to see a rounded curve, and who knows what happens, but that was kind of my thought process, and we're seeing it play out a little bit. Yesterday, we got news that Donald Trump officially nominated pro-Bitcoin and crypto Paul Atkins as the next SEC chair. This is pretty interesting. Obviously, he holds a lot of power within crypto. And sorry if you hear a little bit of movement or something. I have the Bitcoin baby here with me shooting another video. Yeah, we'll get through it. And I think it's important for him to know this kind of stuff. Get it in his head early that Bitcoin is important. Donald Trump nominated pro-crypto and pro-Bitcoin Paul Atkins as the SEC chair. Obviously, Gary Gensler abused that power in a lot of people's minds. President Trump just elected or appointed the crypto czar. And who is it? It's David Sachs. You might recognize him from the All In podcast or from being part of the PayPal mafia back in the day with Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. So this is really interesting. He was a big advocate for Trump. He helped with the campaign. He helped run donation dinners and stuff like that. So yeah, President Trump is appointing him the crypto and AI czar. So he's going to help shape regulation in these areas. This is going to make him probably lots of money. It's going to make him a very important person. And he's already worth lots of money. I think he's worth billions of dollars right now. He owns a venture capital company. He's invested early into some of the biggest tech companies in the world. Worked at Uber. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this works out. But there isn't too much that I could find, at least very short. I watch the All In podcast every week. So it's hard to remember exactly what he said about crypto over time, but he did an interview back in 2017 saying that it could be an issue for venture capital. So he hasn't talked about it too much. We know that there are a large number of pro-crypto people on the All In podcast. And David Sachs also is a big proponent of free speech. So I think he's going to try to, foster innovation in crypto because free speech is connected to crypto in my mind. All right. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of capital. And this position does seem to hold a good amount of power within the crypto industry. They're going to help foster innovation. They're going to help with the White House. They're going to help try to direct the president in the right direction and advise them on things like the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Obviously, two pro-crypto, pro-innovation, pro-business people appointed in the last 24 hours between the SEC chair and David Sachs. So we'll keep on monitoring that. BlackRock, Ether, daily ETH flows almost 300 million. So this is the BlackRock Ethereum ETF, almost 300 million today. Fidelity with 114 million into their Fidelity ETH ETF. This is a large inflow. They've been getting solid inflows every single day, but I think this takes a kick, at least for recent inflows. Obviously, there's a lot of money not just going into Bitcoin these days, but also going into ETH, also going into some of these other top layer ones. This is really bullish. So yeah, we'll have to continue monitoring that as well. And of course, they are buying Bitcoin as well. We had a big outflow from GBTC, 149 million. BITB with a small outflow, ARCB with a small inflow, but IBIT with $785 million of inflow, 7,756 Bitcoin, then Fidelity with 48 million. Now, IBIT has around, I want to say they have around 500,000 Bitcoin now, maybe 510,000 Bitcoin, maybe a little bit more than that. They've been buying $500 million of Bitcoin every single day this week. So they're obviously exploding in terms of AUM, in terms of fees. This is the most successful ETF launch of all time. Don't forget too, there's going to be volatility. Like we just saw that big crash, right? We saw a $7,000 crash after we hit 100,000. Well, actually from the top, we fell down about 13K. Same thing happened back in 2019. When we broke 10,000, we went all the way up to 14,000 and then all the way down to 4,000. So we went down $10,000, another $10,000 move, but you go from 14, you think this is the rally to end all rallies that we're going to go back to all-time highs, and then you fall down all the way to $4,000. So yeah, the fact is we're going to see more volatility in the future. This is completely normal. There's so many companies too that are buying Bitcoin. So much good news recently. There are going to be liquidations on the long side and the short side. So just be ready. When we have some big move to the upside, we're probably going to have a significant move to the downside just to liquidate short positions. But overall, I think we're in a really good place. Keep in mind, we have inflation data next week. That's really the important data that we'll be watching for, CPI and PPI. Of course, there could be some major tech companies sometime that start buying Bitcoin. There is going to be the inauguration day. We're going to see whether we have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Dennis Porter has been talking about how there's going to be some big events happening next week in terms of Bitcoin legislation or Bitcoin news. So yeah, there are a lot of catalysts that are coming down the road. You just want to stay focused at this point. Now, I did tell my Patreon I was taking profits on a position yesterday. If you want to know what I'm doing, I don't post in there all that much. Like I just post a couple times when I buy cryptos, which I'm trading a decent amount right now. But I don't talk about trading because it's so time sensitive. But I do talk about when I buy long-term positions or when I sell long-term positions in there. And then I'm also just dollar cost averaging VOO that's outside of the crypto industry. So if you want to check that out, there's a link to it underneath the video. There are also links to BTCC, Blofin, and CoinW. Of course, like I said, read their terms and conditions, make sure you know the risks, and I will see you all in the